Donald Trump just emboldened Vladimir Putin even further on the global stage. It boggles the mind.
I spoke to several of Trump's former senior advisors, his former national security advisor, John Bolton, former chief of staff, John Kelly, and others who say that he, of all the dictators that he expresses and shows affinity for, the Kims, the Xi Jinpings, etc., Putin is the one that he is most enamored of. Why is that? They can't quite grasp.
Hey there, welcome back into another breaking story here at Occupy Democrats. And yes, Putin is pals with Donald Trump. And you need to look no further than when he said this, blaming Ukraine for the war right here.
But today I heard, we weren't invited. Well, you've been there for 3 years. You should have ended it 3 years. You should have never started it. You could have made a deal.
And he's made it even further clear that he's mad he didn't get the Nobel Prize because he picks on NATO as well. This.
NATO has to treat the U.S. fairly, because if it's not for the United States, NATO literally doesn't even exist. I believe the United States was paying 90% of NATO, the cost of NATO. It could be 100%. It was the most unfair thing. And don't forget, it's more important to them than it is to us. We have an ocean in between some problems, okay? We have a nice, big, beautiful ocean.
You see, he just wants self-appointed control of the entire world. Interesting, an ocean. Maybe he forgot that actually nuclear weapons fly over oceans. But then listen to what he said to the UN about being an independent sovereign nation.
That is why America will always choose independence and cooperation over global governance, control, and domination.
And if you'd like to see the Mango Muppet out of the White House, just subscribe to the channel, because he keeps going.
I honor the right of every nation in this room to pursue its own customs, beliefs, and traditions. The United States will not tell you how to live or work or worship. We only ask that you honor our sovereignty in return.
Really, Donald? You want to honor the countries? Maybe you should check in with Greenland on that one as of recent note, including Venezuela. But oh no, it doesn't stop there, because then listen to what he said about Gaza.
Before that the U.S. would buy Gaza, and today you just said we're not going to buy Gaza.
We're not going to have to buy. We're going to have Gaza. We don't have to buy. There's nothing to buy. We will have Gaza.
What does that mean?
No reason to buy. It's a war-torn area. We're going to take it.
Yep, that sounds like a guy who always wants peace. We're just going to take it and turn it into condos. However, in this breaking story, you will not believe what Trump is flipping forth now in terms of creating his own peace entity for money, of course, and it includes Putin. This is going to blow your mind. Check this story out.
Has announced the formation of a new international committee to oversee the reconstruction of Gaza. But countries who are seeking a long-term role will have to pay up. Listen to this. According to a draft charter, the group, currently being dubbed the Board of Peace, would grant permanent seats to countries that contribute $1 billion towards reconstruction efforts. Other member countries would be limited to just 3-year terms on the board. At least 8 countries say they have been invited to join, with officials from Hungary and Vietnam saying they have accepted, while, yes, Kremlin spokesman is saying that Vladimir Putin is studying the proposal. Putin got an invite to the Board of Peace. However, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer said in a speech just moments ago that he will not endorse the board, declining to pay the $1 billion fee. Executive membership reportedly includes senior U.S. officials and some international figures, including Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff, as well as President Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner. Now, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has also criticized the board, saying it was not coordinated with Israel and, quote, runs contrary to its policy. So far, no representatives from Gaza have been appointed to the board. Richard, let's just get your thoughts on this. First of all, this is sort of President Trump's efforts to build his own UN, we think. You should illuminate viewers as to who would get control over the money that's being, that $1 billion fee that would be submitted. And just what is going on here?
What is going on here? I would, some
what
people
is going on here?
I could see paying $1 billion not to be part of this. That'd be one thing. Second of all, this is a kind of, parallel to the UN body, really ill-defined. It's not Gaza only. And by the way, the Israelis are unhappy with it because you've got countries like Turkey on, who have an agenda that the Israelis don't buy into. So you have Netanyahu disagreeing with this. We ought to be paying countries if they're actually helping towards peace. I would thought we'd maybe incentivize them to do it rather than have them pay up. And the idea that Vladimir Putin, I mean, this is
considering the proposal.
This is Orwell on steroids. The idea that Vladimir Putin, who is carrying out the most destructive war in decades in Europe, could be even talked about as joining an organization with the word peace in his title is just this. Again, it's Orwellian. This makes, Jonathan, absolutely no sense, but it's a kind of privatization. To put it again, this is privatization of national security and foreign policy, and it ought to, I hope it just dies of its own weight.
I mean, yes, the Tears for Fears song, Everybody Wants to Rule the World, is appropriate, except for the fact that not everybody can rule the world, but this clown believes that he can. And every single thing he is doing is only making our enemies more emboldened, and it's taking our allies and having them collectively as a smart group run away from us. This is a guy who actually thinks somehow having the Atlantic Ocean between us and Portugal is somehow going to stop World War III. Donald, you have lost your mind, and there's no shock that he has people like Witkoff and Kushner and all his boys who are going to be corporate oligarchs globally to create some sort of peace country club that includes Vladimir Putin. It boggles the mind. You guys like and share the video and stay frosty.